lately we've been hearing a lot of talk about how Kayvon Thibodeaux may fall in the draft. What I want to talk about in this video is if the Jets should draft Kayvon Thibodeaux or should they stay away. A lot of NFL draft analysts have Kayvon Thibodeaux falling, and where the Jets are passing up on him at pick number 4. Now, do I think the Jets should take Kayvon Thibodeaux at pick 4 if he is there? My answer is abso-freaking-lutely. We need an edge rusher so goddamn badly. Carl Lawson was supposed to be that guy, but he got hurt, and he's coming off of a major injury, so will he even return to the same form? I don't know, because Kayvon Thibodeaux is clearly the best edge prospect in this draft when it comes to not only physical ability, but also college talent. Now, the sack numbers may not jump off the page. He had 9, 7, and I think 10 sacks. So you start to wonder, is he really worth a high-end pick? Well, first of all, sacks are not the only number that matters when it comes to evaluating a player, especially a pass rusher or defensive player. The film speaks a lot more volume, and that's what these NFL general managers are going to be talking about, and I think he definitely checks the box on film study. Now, he does tend to take maybe 1 or 2 plays off, which is a concern, but let's be honest, players do that. Many players. So is it a major concern of mine? Not necessarily. Now, a major concern of mine would be is if Kayvon Thibodeaux doesn't love football, and if it's maybe it's a second priority for him. Because if that's the case, is it worth taking him with a high draft pick? Potentially, but I think it would turn off the coaching staff and Joe Douglas, because what have we heard ever since this duo has entered in the building? They want guys who love the game of football, not what it does for them. So based on that, if Kayvon Thibodeaux is putting football as a secondary or kind of like I'm just doing this every day to make a living, then I don't think they'll draft him. But if he does have that motor and fire, which I think he definitely does inside of him, then I think they will definitely pick him, and I think that he should be the pick at number 4. Because we need a complementary edge rusher so bad, and he has versatility. He can either play with his hand in the ground or as a stand-up edge player, and he's good at stopping the run too. He had 14 tackles for loss in his first freshman year. He had 12, and then I think he had 9, so very good at stopping the run too. Underrated feature about him, and he can get after the quarterback. 9, 7 sacks, more, just talking about per season, so he can do it all. And while the Pac-12 is not the most difficult conference, he could still get better. This is why he's being talked about so much, because he's already a good player coming out of college. His ceiling is so freaking high. I mean, just to give some perspective, Kayvon Thibodeaux is the 6th ranked prospect in his 2019 high school recruiting class, so he already was highly thought of before he even got to the collegiate level, and right now at the collegiate level, he's being thought of very highly too. So he's 6'5", 250 pounds, and he can bulk up and get a lot stronger. He seems like a player that Robert Saleh could develop or would want the challenge to try and develop. It makes sense, and I cannot find a reason why we would not take Kayvon Thibodeaux, because we need pass rush. Robert Saleh, especially on the press conference with the fans, the season ticket holders, he preached that, yeah, it starts with the D-line and the trenches, it starts with them, and we have to get after the quarterback. So it would make sense for him to want to pick a Kayvon Thibodeaux and have him across Carl Lawson, or as an emergency plan just in case Carl Lawson doesn't necessarily return to the same form. That's not to say he would be a bad player, but it would say that Kayvon Thibodeaux would become the number 1 edge rusher, and then Carl Lawson would be kind of the complementary to him, and then it would allow John Franklin Myers to move inside, which is something a lot of fans have been kind of calling for. So I would definitely pick him at number 4. I love Ike Ekwonu, I really do, but that's more of a luxury pick. Listen, I'm skeptical of Mekhi Becton as well, but if he plays, then, I mean, is it worth really investing the 4th overall pick in a position that we don't necessarily need? I think if the Jets were to instead take a Kyle Hamilton or a Ike Ekwonu, which both are great players, by the way, don't get that wrong. I think those are more luxury picks, and at this point, the Jets can't really pick luxury picks. Keep in mind, we went 4-13, and we were a bottom roster in the NFL, so we have to get better. And Ekwonu's a stud. Kyle Hamilton's a stud. We can find safety in free agency without a doubt. It's populated a lot. We've picked 10 too. Kyle Hamilton can fall there. Ike Ekwonu probably not, but it's more of a luxury pick, and we have 2 second round picks very, very early, so we could take an offensive lineman there. It's not like there's just bums after the big 3, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, or Ike Ekwonu. There are still options available. Edge is a little bit harder. I like Ojabo to Michigan, but Kayvon Thibodeaux to me is the number 1 edge prospect in this class, and I don't understand why all these reports coming out about his character. I didn't hear any of this before, January and February. I don't know. I think it's smoke, to be honest. Now it could be true, and maybe we don't select him. And if that's the case, if he doesn't love football, then you know what? Fine, I will live with that. But as of right now, I think the Jets should take Kayvon Thibodeaux out of Oregon at pick number 4 if he is there, because A, it would help our defense tremendously. B, he's a developmental project, while also being a plug-and-play starter, if that makes any sense, because his ceiling is ridiculously high, where he could easily be a top 5 edge rusher in the class. He's highly thought of, he's versatile, and yeah, that's pretty much it, because the defense needs help. And how do we help out the secondary that, while performed strong last year, how do we overall help the team as a whole, where the cornerbacks help out the defensive line, and the defensive line helps out the cornerbacks? A, the defensive line gets pressure, and B, the cornerbacks hold up. So let me know what you guys think. Curious to hear all on any thoughts from Jets fans about Kayvon Thibodeaux. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm burping right now. It's kind of weird, but anyways, let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.